Social media has been a widespread in Brunei Darussalam. Today, the daily usage of social media has been a daily routine for most individuals. Teenagers and young adults are believed to be the ones that are mostly spending their time on the internet. The purpose of this study is to discover the effects of social media on culture, use of language, and communication with each other across varying age groups in the Bruneian society. Boyd 2007 says that gender appears to influence participation on social networking sites. Older girls are far more likely to participate than older boys, 70% versus 57%. Older girls are far more likely to use these social networking sites to communicate with friends they see in real life. According to Larson 2009, based on the empirical data, girls are more preoccupied with what the comments they get and whom they come from. In general, it is very important that comments come from friends and people that they know, rather than strangers. This indicates that photo comments are not just about having one's outer looks valued and acknowledged. According to Przybylski and Weinstein, recent advancements in communication technology have enabled billions of people to connect with each other more easily. Yet, little has been known about how the frequent presence of these devices in social settings influences the face-to-face communication. For the next part, I will pass it to Cairo.
In this research, we'll be using primary data for the research in the form of online questionnaire. Online questionnaires are close-ended. It consists of 8 questions. A question that begins with 5 introductory questions, followed by 3 questions regarding language, culture, and communication. Now, one of the main reasons why we opted to use online questionnaires is because online questionnaires are cheaper, it's convenient and faster, quicker for respondents to answer. It is a perfect method of data collection for a large sample of respondents. Now, for the sample method, initially we decided to use the initial target was 100 respondents, but however we believe that the higher number of respondents, the better chances of us obtaining the result diversification. And at the end of the day, we managed to acquire 126 respondents ranging from as young as 15 years old to 41 years of age and above. Right. For data analysis, we will be presenting our findings using bar graph and pie charts. Pie charts are easy to understand, enables users to process and analyze very quickly by comparing results and findings. Furthermore, analysis of findings will be presented in the discussion section later on. Right. Next, I'm going to pass it to Afik.
So, based on our results, 56.3% of the respondents were female and the rest were male. The age group were mostly from 15 to 20 years old, and the least respondents' age group was 31 to 40 years old. So the most favored social media application that our respondents have used is WhatsApp, and the least favorite is Tumblr. Most of the respondents, which is 30.2% of them, spend about 5 to 8 hours a day being online, and only 4.8% of them use social media for just an hour a day. More than half of the respondents use social media for leisure. In terms of language, 92.9% of them were familiar with it, and only 4% of them said they were not familiar with it. When asked have their language skills improved due to social media, almost half of them said it has improved, compared to only a small percentage of 5.6% said that their language skills have not improved. Majority of the respondents has agreed that the use of social media has exposed people to different cultures. And moving on to communication aspect. In response to communication being affected by social media, a large proportion of respondents agreed that face-to-face communication has decreased due to social media. To be exact, 65.9% of them said that they agreed that social media has affected face-to-face communication. 3.2% of them were not sure about it, occupying the smallest percentage of the respondents. So that's it from my part. I'll pass this to Kharizal Yusri.
Right. Based on our discussions, most respondents are female. According to Larson, based on our literature review, we found out that female are more interested in social media activities. And based on our research, we found that the main purpose of social media is for leisure, and Instagram was the second highest. second highest in most used applications behind WhatsApp. Okay, as most of us already know, Instagram is a photo sharing application which enables users to like and comment each other's pictures. And this supports the notion that females are more keen in engaging people to their posts. Okay, moreover, questionnaires are being distributed randomly, so the number of female respondents are crucial. Secondly, culturally speaking, large respondents believe that social media exposes people to different culture in a way that it affects their social behavior, as stated in the results section. For example, vandalism, which has been going on in Brunei for quite some time. Social media also affect communication in a way that people spend more time on their phone rather than talking to people. As said before, majority of respondents believe that face-to-face interaction has decreased by social media. I think this has to do with the invention of applications such as Snapchat, Skype, as well as FaceTime. Now, for the language-wise, a large proportion of respondents believe that they were familiar with the chat lingo such as BRB, LOL, TYT. However, there were no direct correlation with how frequent they use these chat lingos. Nevertheless, almost 50% of respondents agree that their language skills have improved due to social media. Right. For the next part, I'm going to pass it to Farhan.
In conclusion, social media has an effect on language, culture, and communication in the Bruneian society. Based on our findings, we have found that most of respondents spend about 5 to 8 hours being online, and most of them use it for leisure. Language-wise, social media has improved their language skill. Culture-wise, it has been proven that social media has an effect on Bruneians' belief. Social media has become an important tool for communication over time by providing not only cheap but convenient way to virtually interact with one another. Due to social media, face-to-face communication has decreased with the use of social media as more people spend less time on face-to-face communication. As for the recommendation, social media should be used for a good purpose. Based on our findings, the respondents are mostly teenagers and young adults. As for teenagers, parents should be aware of their children's activity on social media. By controlling the usage of social media, it could reduce the risk of being badly influenced. Our questionnaire was a forced choice format. Disadvantage of this format is that it can create false opinions due to insufficient range of alternatives. In the future, questionnaire should include both open and closed-ended questions to collect in-depth of the research. The time in preparing the report should be given more time. This is to ensure the students collect more reliable and valid data of the research.
That is all for our report. Thank you.